Morning, folks. What's going on? Coach Gav here. Monday morning, February the 20th, episode 7 of Coach Gav TV. So, just getting literally out of bed, getting ready for work. And kind of how you start your morning, how you set yourself up for the day is pretty much going to be a huge kind of block or kind of a huge kick-off for the rest of your day. So, I've been at the gym for 5:30 and then kind of work backwards down from that in terms of how long do I need to get up, to get ready, to get going, kind of get everything together before I head in. And again, that'll kind of, so me personally, I won't eat till maybe about 7ish after the first block of sessions. I'd rather have that a little bit longer in bed to just to rest a little bit longer, and then after that, so I'll have a tea or a coffee or probably some water when I get into work, and then after that I will like I said, I'll eat then around maybe 7, half 7, and probably have kind of some mix most mornings of like maybe some like an omelette of some description. Christ. And then also or like maybe some porridge some days as well. So but also then kind of that's physically how you're starting your day. Mentally how you're starting your day is also kind of regardless of if you had a good or a bad day yesterday. You know, today's a new day. You don't really know, well, no one knows what's going to come along. And you know, to a point, yeah, it is a case of you have to be, Jesus Christ, reactionary to things. And then on the flip side is that just shake it off. Whatever happened has happened. Whatever's going to happen will happen. How you react and respond to it will dictate what goes on. And that also spills over into your food choices then as well. So making good choices from the outset. I do plan out the first half, the first section of my day up until maybe 1-2 o'clock pretty heavily, just because I find that when it comes to say study, work or things like that, it's a better section of the day for me. I'm pretty useless in the afternoon when it comes to, you know, picking up information from study or from reading and that then as well. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to put my long sleeve top on. Right, I'm off to work. See you in a bit. Hey folks, what's going on? Coach Gav here at KSF. This is the follow-up part to yesterday's one. So I started filming in the morning on the way to work with the idea of capturing the bulk of my day, but it didn't really work out that way, purely because I lost my camera in my bag and then I left it in the car, and then my mum took the car, and then I just didn't film for the rest of the afternoon. So I have a little holder here in the car. I'm going to see if that manages to work. I'm going to test it out. So hopefully I don't get talking about some really important stuff and the roar of the engine covers it, which would be quite a pain in the arse. Shit. Okay, right. I don't think that one's going to work. And again, even like that, I suppose this will maybe just be a real quick vlog. Then it's about trial and error. Like, you know, there's a load of reasons why I could think why I shouldn't vlog, or why this shouldn't do it, or even why putting this one out is a bad idea. Because, it's not going to look professional. It's not going to look like Cormac Nugent or Rob Lipsitz, or it's not going to look like, you know, a professional's done it. That's because it's not, well, firstly, that's because a professional isn't doing it. It's coming off my iPhone in my car. But at the same time, that's kind of the feel I'm looking for with the vlogs, is that there's a realness to it, there's a rawness to it, and that, you know, on my end, I get the information out there that I want to get out to the people that I wanted to get to, but also that it's not consuming a load of my time to sit down and edit and do fancy stuff. And as time goes on, you know, I might start doing things a little bit differently. But for right now, for what I want to do, this is working as well as possible. Son of a bitch. Okay, we'll try that this time now. So, and that's kind of it. So even when it comes to your nutrition, your training and things like that, you know, you're going to end up in situations where you're going to start off doing things one way just to get the ball rolling, and then you're going to have to change as time goes on, and you're going to have to do things, you're going to have to like give it your best, and things won't work out, and then you're going to have to maybe come at it a different way. So if your goal is important enough, if what you're pursuing matters enough, you'll just keep trying to find a way. Now, there is a certain cut-off point where you do kind of gotta go, right, I gotta kind of either cut my losses here, or just really reinvent myself. So one of the big things I've learned over the 2.5 years of running the gym, because there's one thing being self-employed, obviously for mine the things, being a trainer, being a coach, taking on clients, doing sessions, all that side of things. And for the first year I was up in the Irish Strength Institute in Dublin in the ISI, and that brought on its own set of kind of learning curves, and that's what it is. They may come in the form of issues and hurdles, but it's just a learning curve at the end of the day. So I faced one set of situations up there, and then when I went and, you know, opened up my own facility, you know, kind of a whole new set of them came along as well. And as you go along in your journey, be it training, nutrition, mindset, lifestyle, relationship, a physical, emotional, mental change, whatever it is, you're going to come across these ways too. Sometimes just getting started is enough to get you results that would give you the platform to excel. Oftentimes, and I'm as guilty of this as the next person, we're too quick to want the end product before we want to go, like, imagine building a house. You'll hear this analogy from me an awful lot. Imagine that situation. We're so interested in going and picking out the TV for the sitting room, or the nails we're going to use to hang the pictures on the wall, long before we actually go and put the goddamn foundations down. There's a process and a sequence to everything. In some situations, for some people, yes, the process goes quick, or it feels like they're able to jump from situation to situation. For the majority of us, however, it is important to go and lay the foundations, and to, like this vlog, go try and fail and keep trying and keep failing until you fail forward. And failing forward is a new enough concept. It's gaining in popularity, and so, you know, given another year or so, no doubt it'll be all over Instagram and social media and all that kind of crack, where you go and you try something, it doesn't work, and you just dust yourself off and you go again. And at one stage I was meeting with my account manager about the loan for the business and that kind of stuff, and, you know, the first 2 years weren't great, and, you know, kind of, we, like most people, fell behind with it. So kind of when I first got the loan, we had one plan in place, and then as things unfolded, that plan didn't quite work out. So then I had to come up with a different plan, and then that plan didn't work out too. And I believe, if I'm keeping score, I'm on maybe my 4th or 5th repayment plan. And the one I'm on now is working. It's taking very small chunks off of the total sum, but it's maintainable and manageable. Touch wood, I've not missed a repayment since September or October, and the repayments are weekly. So motivation and confidence wise, I'm quite good. I'm not stressing over the fact that I'm falling behind in that area. So where does this relate to you? With your goals, break them down into small enough parts, and don't overlook it. You know, don't think you're too big for the basics. Get your goddamn basics right, and then go on from there. Take your small chunks and then go from there. And you might kind of think, well, what does this guy in his 30s know about me or about my situation? I know enough from my own situation to realise that things aren't that different from person to person, folks. You know, there might be different variations, but your situation and mine and the next person, it's not a million miles apart. You know, we're special, but we're not that special, where the laws of averages are kind of, the laws of averages just don't apply to us. Kind of, our situation isn't that unique where, oh well, kind of, this works differently for me. No, it's not. And, or if it does, the odds are literally, we're talking about 1 into tens of millions. But
So when you are kind of going those ways, make sure if something's not working, do you have your basics right? You know, are you covering your bases? Are you covering your corners? Is it working off? And like that, I've lost an awful lot. Kind of financially lost a lot, physically lost an awful lot. My health was really bad. Physically, I'm getting back to where I was because I'm training an awful lot. I'm back in love with training again. You know, but again, my eye issues that I have now have all because I was so busy fighting fires in the wrong manner that my health. I remember at one stage Emily had to take the gym keys off me. I was so sick. She came in one night and I was on the floor in the gym trying to coach while holding a hot water bottle across my body. I ended up with like a viral infection. My body was like, a viral infection is effectively when your body's kind of going, hey, we're so run down, we're going to press the default button here and you gotta fucking stop. So like when I went home the next day, I had to cancel work for the day ahead, or even for 2 days I had to close, and Emily had to take the keys off me because she knew full well if I got out of bed I would try and go to the gym to take sessions. So Christ, where was I going there? Oh yeah, like don't overlook all the basics, and you know, keep an eye on these things, and they're all indicators. And look, I understand people are busy, life is busy, that's the nature of the beast, and especially if you're striving for that kind of that next level, that upper tier, that's something different that others don't have, you're going to have to work a little smarter, a little longer, a little harder. You're going to have to come at things a bit different than everyone else because you want something that not everyone has, and that's the payoff, that's the trade-off. You're swapping nights out for nights in so you can do more work, or you can save more money to go on those holidays, or you can pursue the things that are different. You're swapping easy choices for better choices or for right choices, and so these are all things that lie ahead. And I think that's going to be our main message that we're really hammering out here, and that's why you're seeing a lot of my transformation pictures, is that it's about just getting the basics right. That sometimes, and I've seen it firsthand, and I could never put a phrase to it until the last maybe couple of weeks, where I was like, you know, we're not above the basics here, guys. You know, we can't get frustrated with the results we're not getting from the work we're not doing. And one of the girls with us, she's been with us, I'll keep her nameless for a while, she knows who she is, like, so for the first while, killing it in the gym, like just an absolute savage, but nutritionally the penny hadn't dropped yet. So what it ended up being was that when things clicked for her nutritionally, and she said it herself, I'm paraphrasing her words, but when the penny dropped, when the light switch went, when everything fell into place, then bang, physically, her body, the effort she was putting in the gym matched up with the effort she was putting in outside of the gym. And then the results on the scales, on the measuring tape, in her clothes have shown drastically, and over the year has completely changed the shape of her body. And not only has she lost the weight, she's strong as an ox, physically her body's in great shape, and that's the way it's going to go. So if, like so many other people out there, you're struggling to get your head around the lack of results, or your results have kind of stagnated, okay, stop and be brutally honest. Are you doing what you need to do on a foundational level to get to where you need to go? I'm so pale, Jesus. So like that, and again, and I'll go into it a little bit more. The last 2016 was a bit of a mad year in terms of I really had to dive deep and build myself back up from a foundation level, purely because in every possible facet I was not a version of myself that I wanted to be. And this isn't a woe is me or oh Jesus, you do it for the likes. I'm doing this, and I'll share it in greater detail so that people, men and women, young and old, fathers, mothers, brothers, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, that people who are in the position I was in, or a similar one, either more or less the same, that you guys can salvage, and that you don't suffer the losses that I suffered. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still very appreciative of the lessons I learned, but by the same time, I'd have appreciated it even more if I could learn those lessons and not have had the losses. And yes, I'm fully aware that with, you know, the lessons came with the loss, and you can't really expect. That's quite an interesting driving maneuver. Kind of, you can't really have one without the other. So at the age of 30, I'm as awful as as awful as 2016 was. I learned an awful lot about myself, and about who I was, who I wasn't, who I wanted to be, and also how far from those things that I was. And I'm not the finished product, and I don't think I ever will be, because as I go on, I'll keep changing, keep growing, and you won't be the finished product either. So that's pretty much it, folks. Just gonna wrap it up here. My thanks if you've stuck it out this far to watch the video through the bad angle, through the thing. But oftentimes, guys, it's in those situations when something isn't all bells and whistles and, you know, kind of boobs and biceps, that, you know, all the highly glossed stuff, that you do get the results, or you get the golden information. Kind of, it's sometimes you got to wade through the shit to find the diamonds. That's definitely not a catchphrase. Right, folks, God bless. I'll talk to you soon.